every once in a while. And most important thing this morning is to take care of yourself. So honor whatever's going on in your body today and listen to yourself. I'll give you lots of options through the practice. And as I mentioned, if you didn't see it on the chat, if you do have something that's like a block, a book, or even a large cushion can work. We're going to play with a few balancing postures, and then we will be on the knees a little bit. So if you have an added blanket or towel for a little bit more knee support, that can be useful. So this morning, one of the things that I was thinking about was just how the various mindfulness rituals and practices that I have and have been with me for a long time really support a sense of grounding, and particularly during this time when there can be a feeling ungrounded, and a little bit more, for me, I notice more airy, just even I'm trying to limit my news intake, but even reading a story, um, I can feel this energy of lightness and air that starts to pick me up and take me away from my roots. So we're going to play a little bit with that today. This idea of grounding and how that can really support the nervous system, and let it be an experiment and notice what happens for you when things get unstable, and how you can still anchor into your supports. So we'll start out in a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. So if a cross-legged seat doesn't work, know that you can always extend the legs out with a little bend in the knees, ensuring that the spine is long as best you can. And if you are sitting cross-legged, check in if you have a habitual foot that comes forward, that's stretching just one side of your hips. So give it a switch and sit in a way that's a little bit less habitual. And from there, relax your hands either a little wider out or one palm rests at the center of the other. And take a moment here to initiate just a very gentle rock, moving forward and back a few cycles. Then a little right to left, left to right. And from here, explore a little bit of a circular motion. So keep your awareness at the sitting bones making contact with the ground. Reverse, gentle circle, opposite way. And from there, find a place of pause at center. Let your eyes relax if they haven't already, either down towards the earth, partway closed, or fully closed. And take a moment here to observe, still keeping attention at your roots in this position, noticing the way you anchor towards the ground. And from here, as you honor yourself for showing up for this time of practice, gradually dive into the presence and rhythm of your breath. Begin to inhale more fully if it's available through nose, otherwise through your mouth. Coming into a diaphragmatic breath, expansive, alive. And for this practice, envision the breath really starting at the ground and rising up all the way to the top of the head. And then like a gentle waterfall, cascading with the exhale back down. And take time to cultivate this full, expansive, three-dimensional breath pattern. Notice the way front body, back, sides awaken here with the breath. And if you're familiar with the ocean sounding breath, Ujjayi Pranayam, feel free to initiate that, the slight contraction at the back of your throat, and creating a gentle ocean hum. The intention of this breath is to create a little bit of more warmth in the body, It also contracts what's called the vagus nerve, which helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system and create that state of calm. As you stay with the connection of the breath, gradually bring the palms up in front of your heart center, or lay one palm flat at the heart and the other palm on top of that. And take a moment to create focus, direction, intention for your time in practice this morning. It could be around this idea of groundedness, if that resonates with you. If it doesn't, set a focus that really works for you. How do you anchor into your roots? What does that do in your life? And to acknowledge this and each other's company here as we practice in community, even in a virtual space, gently bow your head towards your heart center. And from there, allow the spine to elongate, awaken through your eyes. If you're sitting on something, reach back behind and move it to the side. Swing your legs back behind. If you need your knee support, have it ready. Come on to the knees, either back toes curled or uncurled. Rise up into a kneeling position. Take an inhaling breath, circle sweep the arms up to the sky. With your exhalation, draw the elbows and hands into center, palms touch, elbows touch as best you can, round your body, fold in. Inhale to open, expand out, arms to a cactus position, expand. Through the collarbones, low back. Exhale to round for cow stretch. Inhale to open and expand. Exhale for cat stretch to round in. Inhale to open for cow stretch. A few more rounds here, awakening through the spine. One more cycle. Stay with the breath, cultivating foundation. This time with the exhale, return your low back to neutral. Hands come onto your hips. Extend your right leg out to the side, toes face forward. Inhale to open the arms to the sky. With the exhale, lean over, right hand towards the leg, left arm up and over. Inhale back through center. Exhale, same side, arc, little stretch for your ribs. You might feel this in the inner line of your leg as well. Use your breath, your own speed. One more time. Inhale back through center, both arms to the sky. Exhale, release your hand down, knee bend. Extend your left leg out to the side. Inhale to sweep, arms rise up. Keep the leg still energized. Exhale, lower left arm to the leg, right arm up and over. Move with the breath. Inhale through center. Exhale, gentle arc. A few more rounds with the breath here. Notice the foundation of your lower body as the upper body moves. With the inhale, rise back up through center, both arms to the sky. Exhale, return your knee back down. This time, come down to tabletop position. Adjust knees a little bit under the hips or a little wider, hands under shoulders or wider. Inhale to sweep the right arm up to the sky. And with the exhalation, thread your right arm underneath of your left, gentle twist for thread the needle, keep it moving here. Inhale to open, arm to the sky, stretch out through your ribs. Exhale to gently twist. Inhale to open. Exhale, final rotation here. Inhale to expand, arm to the sky. Exhale, lower your hand to the earth. In breath, left arm rises high. Exhale to thread, forearm behind forearm. Continue to move a few more rounds here with your breath, with your rhythm. Next cycle, as you find yourself in the twisting place, take your time with the inhale, come back up, arm to the sky. Exhale to release your hand back down. From here, curl your toes under, fire up through your finger pads, inner arms and legs strong. Inhale to lift and hover your knees about 1/2 inch to 1 inch off the ground. Keep the low back stable, a little scoop in the tail. Exhale to lower down to the earth. Inhale, rise back up to this little tabletop hover. Exhale to lower down. You could stay in this up and down motion. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Or this time around, if it feels supportive, with your inhale, pause and sustain. Build a little bit more fire here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale to release down. Step your knees just a tad behind of your hips with the fingertips still energized. Inhale to lift hips towards the back wall for downward dog. Head in between your arms. Bend one knee at a time. Walk out one knee. Pedal through the back body here. Make any other movements with your head, your neck. And gradually pause any of your motion. Stabilize in down dog, providing length for your whole spinal column. If the low back is rounding, bend your knees as much as you need, hips towards the back wall. Mouth and jaw relaxed. One more deep breath. Use your exhalation, take as much time as you need, walk up, step up to the front edge of your space for forward folds. Feet hip distance apart. Inhale to elongate halfway up, so it's a little L shape. Sitting bones back, crown forward. Exhale, fold back down towards the earth. Bend your knees as much as you need in the fold. Inhale to elongate partway up. Long spine like a tabletop. Exhale to fold. One more time, inhale to elongate, halfway rise. Stay rooted into the feet. With the exhale, bend your knees a bit. Sink back, inhale, rise up, standing circle. Sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, hands fold down to heart center. Inhale, palms rise back up to the sky. With exhale, lean over to the right side. Right hand to your hip, left arm up and over. Stay right there. Or if you want a little bit more heat, rejoin the palms to touch, or the arms can also frame the head. Keep length in the side body, firing up here through the obliques, staying rooted even into your left leg as the weight shifts right. Inhale to lift through center. Exhale, opposite side, begin with left hand to hip, right arm up and over. Stabilize yourself here, length through the ribs. And then check in if you need to layer on. Feel free to touch the palms or have more space for the shoulders as the arms frame. Choosing the option that works best for you. Deep connected breaths, honoring the pause here of sustaining a posture. Building heat. Inhale to lift back up through center with the exhalation. Lower, circle the arms back behind you. Interlace both hands, little bend in the knees. Stretch your knuckles back, open through your front body. Lift the chest, collarbones, chin tips a little bit to the sky. Opening through your front body, shoulders. One more deep inhale. Exhale to relax the arms, unlace the fingers. Inhale, circle the arms back up to the sky. With exhale, palms through center, hinge at your hips, fold forward, forward bend. Inhale to elongate halfway up. Exhale, fold back down to the ground. Take your time, step back, downward dog, fingertips alive, hips high, back behind. Once you're stable in down dog, lengthen your spine. Use your next inhale, shift your weight forward, roll, high plank pose. Knees can always come down. Otherwise, stay buoyant here. Scoop the tail to tone the low belly. Have the upper back round to the sky just a little bit. One more cycle of breath here. Use your next inhale to press back, downward facing dog pose. Move through these postures a few cycles. Inhale to roll forward, strong core, upper back rounds, plank pose. Inhale to press back, downward facing. Exhale again, shift forward, high plank. Inhale to press back, downward dog. Final cycle, this time as you come into high plank pose, sustain here a few cycles of concentrated breath, so honoring the speed of your own practice here. Remember, knees are always an option. Notice if there's any turbulence that's building through the core. Keep the low back just as much in your mind as the front line of the abdominals. One more full breath in. With the exhale, either bend your elbows right here or knee support for the transition, lowering all the way down onto the ground. Uncurl your toes, keep the legs hip distance, thumb slide a little back in line with the breastbone. From there, legs rooted, inhale, lengthen first, then add the height for Cobra posture, Bhujangasana. Exhale to lower down. With the inhale, pulse back up. A few rounds here for movement and breath. Keep anchored through your lower body, expanded through your front body. You can stay in this up and down motion, or next time as you rise, Cobra, pause and sustain, staying aware of the ground below you, lengthen from waistline to top of head. If you find your mind distracted somewhere else, bring your focus back to heat building in your body, to the places you're making contact with the ground. One more inhale. Exhale to lower back to the earth. Curl your toes under. Two options, either tabletop or lift your knees for more heat. Inhale, rise through a reverse plank. Exhale, press back, hips to the sky, downward facing dog pose. Pause in downward dog. With the inhale, right leg extends up to the sky. Three-legged downward dog. Bend your left knee as much as you need here for support of your hamstring if it's a little tighter. Deep breath in. Exhale, step your right foot through in between your hands. Take your time. You can always draw hand to calf to help that support. Lower your back knee down to the ground. This is where knee support can come in, either doubling up your mat or using the extra blanket or towel. Inhale to rise up, torso long, arms to the sky for crescent lunge pose. Deep breath in. With the exhalation, lower your hands down, frame your front foot. Inhale to lift, back leg high. Exhale, step up, front edge of your mat, forward bend. Inhale to lift and lengthen halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees, shift the weight back behind, inner leg strong. Inhale, rise up, circle sweep to the sky. With the out breath, lean right side, either hands frame, palms touch. Inhale to lift back through center. Exhale, opposite side. Inhale back through middle space. Exhale, hinge at your hips, bow forward. Forward fold, feet still rooted. Inhale to lift halfway up. Exhale, fold back down to the earth. This time step back, high plank pose. Take a deep breath. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Uncurl your toes. Legs rooted, squeeze your glutes with the inhale, lift for Cobra and lengthen. Exhale to lower back down. Curl your toes under. You have table option or in breath for a reverse plank. Exhale, press back, downward dog. Stabilize in your down dog, side body full of length. On inhale, extend your left leg back behind, three-legged down dog. Square your hip as best you can here. Stay with the breath, sustaining the posture here. Few rounds of deep breathing. Know that in this three-legged down dog, you can always lower your right knee down to the earth and do a one-legged tabletop position if you are getting overheated here. One more inhale. Exhale, take your time, step your left foot through in between your hands. Lower your back knee down to the earth. Legs still strong, hip square to the front edge of your space. Inhale, lift, arms rise to the sky. Lengthen from your waistline to the fingertips. Deep breath. Notice the buoyancy of your upper body, but still the rootedness of your lower body. One more inhalation. Exhale to lower back down to the ground. Inhale, lift, back leg rises. Take your time. Exhale, step up, front edge of your space, forward fold. Inhale to lengthen part way up, long spine. Exhale, bend your knees, shift the weight back. Inhale, rise up all the way to standing. Exhale, lean over to the right side. Inhale, back through center. Lean to the left, taking any posture option here with the arms to support. In breath back through middle space, palms touch. Exhale, hinge and fold, forward bend. Inhale to lift part way up. Exhale, step back, high plank pose, top of a push-up. Strong core, use your exhale, move through, low push-up all the way down to the ground, uncurl your toes. Inhale, cobra option. Exhale to fold back down. Inhale, tabletop or reverse plank. With exhale, press back, downward dog pose. Deep breath, expand through your lungs. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Any sound, sigh. Inhale, deep breath. Use your out breath to step. Lightly make your way to the front edge of your space, forward bend. Inhale to lift and lengthen halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees, shift the weight back behind. Inhale, rise up, standing. Exhale again, lean over to the right side. Inhale through center. Exhale, lean left. Inhale back through middle space. With the exhale, draw your hands to touch above you. Look down at the earth for balance support. Shift the weight into your right leg. Take a deep breath. Exhale like pulling a lever. Draw your hand towards heart center as your left knee rises up to balance. Flare through your left toes. Lots of length here. Stay right there. Inhale to re-extend the arms to the sky. Open the arms a little wider. Standing crane variation. Deep breaths. If you're clenching through your right toes, allow them to soften. Deep inhalation. Exhale, lower your foot down, hands back to heart, hinge and fold right into forward bend. Inhale to lift and lengthen halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees, shift the weight back behind. Inhale, rise up all the way to standing, gaze to the earth this time. Exhale, pull like a lever, hand to center, right leg rises this time. Hip height, flare through your toes. Stabilize and find your groundedness first. Then it's if it's available, layer on. Extend the arms to the sky. Stay with deep breathing to support nervous system to stay calm even as you engage and build a little fire. One more inhale. Exhale, foot down, hands to heart, hinge and fold right into forward bend. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. With your exhale, fold back down to the ground, step back, high plank pose, top of a push-up. This time with the exhale, either move through cobra or option for up dog. Inhale to float forward in up dog, squeeze the glutes, core strong, heart opens. In either place, exhale, press back, downward facing dog. In any of these quote unquote vinyasa transitions, you can always just do a cat-cow or skip them all together as well. Use an inhale breath, lift your right leg up to the sky, three-legged down dog. With exhale, right knee draws in towards center, twist your whole body, right knee towards left, elbow does not need to touch. Inhale back to the sky, three-legged. Exhale, take your time. Step your right foot forward in between your hands. Back heel high to the sky, legs strong. And breath, rise up. Hands start at hips for crescent lunge pose. If having the back heel high is way too intense for your ankle, you can always spin the foot down. In breath to rejoin the arms up to the sky. Noticing what you're feeling in your body here, feet grounded. Might find some sensation on the left hip flexor, left hip area, honoring that stretch. One more inhale. With exhale, lean your torso forward at a 45-degree angle, arms back behind like wings in a wide V. This is too intense. Hands can always support at the front thigh. Scoop the tail to fire up through the front line of your core. Deep breathing. Inhale to rise back up through center crescent lunge. With exhalation, lower down. Frame your front foot. Inhale to extend right leg back to the sky, three-legged down dog. Once again, with exhale, spin and twist towards your left elbow. Inhale, leg back up to the sky. Exhale, lower your foot down. Shift your weight forward. Move through either cobra or up dog or cat-cow or skip. Inhale to open. Exhale, draw back downward facing dog pose. In breath for left leg, rising to the sky. Exhale, bend your knee, twist over towards your right elbow. Inhale, leg to the sky. Exhale, step your foot through in between your hands. Take your time. Adjust your feet for support. In breath, rise up, torso and arms to the sky, crescent lunge. Feel the length in the ribs here. Your shoulders feel contracted. Take a wider V with the arms. One more breath in. Use your exhale breath to lean forward, torso at 45 degrees, arms back behind like wings. Noticing if you need added support. If you're wanting a little bit more fire, arms extend out in front to frame the line of your head. You make the choice that works best for you here, honoring your experience. With the inhale, rise back up through center. Exhale, lower back to the earth, frame your front foot. Inhale, leg to the sky behind you, three-legged downward dog. Exhale, spin and twist again towards your elbow. Inhale to lengthen leg back. Exhale, lower your foot down. Take your time, shift forward, move through your own rhythm. Can always be cat and cow for less intensity. With your own breath rhythm, find yourself in downward dog. You can always take puppy stretch, child's pose as well, if down dog is a bit too intense. One more breath in. With the exhale, step your feet up to the front edge of your mat. Take your time to arrive there in forward fold. In breath to lengthen halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees, shift the weight back behind. Inhale to rise up, circle sweep the arms all the way up to the sky, standing. Exhale, hands fold to heart center. Inhale, palms rise back up to the sky. With the exhale, bend your knees, hands to heart center, shift the weight back into chair pose, inner leg strong. Find a gaze point on the ground to support you here. Gradually root into your right foot. With the inhale, lift, left knee floats. Arms rise to the sky with the breath. This time with the exhale, add a little rotation Right hand to your front knee, left arm back behind, either long or to your low back sacrum. Focus on the rotation more from your ribs. For added balance challenge, start to move your head to the left side. The gaze can even come back behind you for the next layer. Use an inhalation, rotate back to center, arms to the sky. Exhale, lower your foot, hands to heart, sink back, chair pose, gaze at the floor. Inhale to rise up, right into balance, opposite side. Right knee floats, take a breath to elongate the arms. Exhale, take your time, open, spin, twist. Take your own exploration here. So balancing poses helping us with focus, balance, stability. So notice even in the instability of the pose, how you can anchor, where you can soften a little bit, even as you stay grounded and connected. Honoring if this side feels a little different, more easeful, more intense. On inhale, rotate your torso, arms back to the sky. Exhale, lower your foot, chair pose. This time fold right into forward bend. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. Exhale, fold down to the earth, step back, high plank pose, top of a push-up, move through your own rhythm here. Vinyasa flow, using the breath, staying strong. When you're in down dog, pause 3 rounds of cleansing, connected breaths. Stay active through your fingertips, side body lengthening, hips pressing back. With an inhale, extend your right leg up to the sky, 3-legged down dog. Exhale, bend your knee into center, rotate and twist towards your left elbow. This time, pause and sustain for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, leg up to the sky. Exhale, step your foot through in between your hands. Take your time. Take a breath in. Exhale to lower your back knee down to the earth, supported if you need more cushion. Inhale, rise up, torso and arms to the sky. With exhale, lower your hands to your front thigh. Inhale, strong back leg, rise up the center of the body, crescent lunge. Next breath, arms extend to the sky. With your exhalation, lean forward again, torso at 45 for leaning warrior. And from this place, if you have your block handy near your space, have it a few inches out in front, or your pseudo block works as well. Inhale, full breath here. On the exhalation, start to kick the back leg. Block can be used for support for both hands. Energize, flare the back toes, lengthen through your side body. Deep breathing in warrior 3 pose. The right knee can bend just a little bit if you need a bit more support. Avoid completely locking out through the leg. Buoyant through the shoulders, the heart. For more fire, lift. Hands at heart center. Honoring your rhythm in the pose. One more inhale. Exhale to lower your foot back down. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Exhale, lower back down to the earth. Step back, high plank pose, move through, low push up. Inhale, cobra, up dog, cat cow, or skip. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. In breath to lift, left leg high, 3-legged down dog. Exhale, bend your knee into center, twist over towards your elbow. Pause this time for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, breath, leg to the sky. Exhale, take your time, step your foot through in between your hands. Lower your back knee to the ground, adjust your block to support you here. Inhale to lift, arms rise. Exhale, lower your hands onto your front thigh. In breath, take your time. Lift your back knee, center of the body. Exhale to settle. Inhale to lift, arms rise. With your exhalation, lean forward, torso at 45 degrees. Arms back behind, leaning warrior pose. From there, either palms to front thigh or the support of your prop. Gradually extend your back leg high. Flare through your back toes, keeping the whole line of your calf and quad alive, awake. Press through the front of your head. Take any posture option, hands to hips, hands to heart. Notice if you're clenching through your right toes, allow them to soften just a little bit here, staying in your foundation. Deep connected breath. Exhale, take your time, lower your back foot down, rise up with the torso and arms. Exhale, lower the hands down to the earth, step back, move through your own flow, listening to what your body needs here. Eventually coming into downward facing dog, take a moment to notice heat, sensation, what you are aware of in your body right now. And with an inhalation, gradually roll your whole body forward, high plank pose, top of a push-up, deep breath. Exhale to lower all the way down onto the belly. Uncurl your toes, arms flow back behind. Keep the arms wide by the side of your body at about a 35-degree angle, like a V, wings. With a little scoop in the tail, squeeze through the glutes. Tone the center of the body. Inhale to lift, legs and torso come off of the ground. Option to join the arms. Can also interlace the hands back behind you. Knuckles stretch back for locust pose. Stay with the breath. Relax through your mouth, your jaw. One more inhale. Exhale to gently lower down to the ground. Palms can come forward, chin rests at center. Pause for a moment here. From there, readjust your hands by the side of your heart space, curl your toes, tabletop or reverse plank, your choice. Flow through with an inhale, exhale, downward facing dog pose. Last time in downward dog, 3 rounds of connected breath. With your exhalation, slowly release your knees down to the ground for tabletop position. Take a moment, swing your hips to one side of your space, gradually extend your legs out in front. Hands come back behind to support. Press out through your toes, stretch out through the inner line of your legs, the hamstrings underneath. One more deep breath. And with the exhalation, soften here, bend your knees with the hands back behind, shift the weight a little bit back, lift your feet off of the ground. This is a great place to pause. Otherwise, if you want a little bit more heat, take your hands back behind of your hamstrings. Notice if your spine is rounding here, keep rooted into the ground as you lengthen. From there, feel free to layer on. Arms can draw out in front. Legs can also extend if the hamstrings allow. A few rounds of deep breath to fire up the core. Check in with your mind, your attention. One more inhale. With the exhalation, release your feet down to the earth, hands thread back behind of your hamstrings to opposite elbows or anywhere along your arm, round your back body. Lower your head down, take a moment to curl inwards. And from there, returning back to a place of center. Lower your right knee down towards the earth. And this is where props can come in handy for support. So if there's tightness, you can always place a blanket underneath of your knee. From there, your opposite foot comes somewhere onto your leg. And again, this is common if the hips are a little tighter, your left knee will be lifted. So use something to fill in the space, even if you need to bulk it up a little bit more. This might be plenty of stretch here for the whole back line of your hips, your glutes. So stay right there. If the hips are a little bit more open, take a breath to lengthen. With the exhale option to slowly hinge and walk forward. Keep your toes and feet slightly awake here so they're not completely asleep to protect the knees as you fold forward. This is called fire log pose, sometimes called double pigeon pose. Just taking a few moments here to honor your own expression in the posture, deep connected breaths. Continue to notice the way that your body is making contact with the ground. Check in with your mind if you're in a different dialogue, different conversation. Come back to this moment, this time. And utilize a soft, gentle breath to press your hands, come back up, torso long. With the hands back behind, take a moment, make any little stretches for your legs, any little wiggles to release tension. And from there, explore opposite side. Left foot comes, left leg and foot come down to the earth, right crosses over. Again, checking in where you might need some added prop support. Might be enough here, stay and breathe. Otherwise, exploring the gentle forward fold and seeing where you're getting just enough sensation for your stretch. And stay with a soft breath, a few more rounds. Send the breath to any areas that feel overly tense. With your next in-breath, take your time to use your hands for support, lift your torso back up. Remove any props and stretch your legs out. Make any little wiggles that you need. And from here, draw your feet back and towards you. Soles of the feet touch, especially if your hamstrings are tight or low back rounds. Keep your hands back behind for the first part of this, or might be the whole part. Feet press, inhale to lift and lengthen. Exhale, if you need a little more, start to hinge your hips forward for this inner groin stretch, bound angle pose. If you're not feeling enough, you can always take the feet a little bit closer towards your groin, and the hands can come onto the ankles as long as your spine feels supported. Finding the posture shape that works best in your body right now. We're still getting activation, stretch, staying mindful of your spine. And stay with a few rounds of deep breathing. Know that you can always release the posture earlier than I guide you. Just listening to what your body is asking and staying curious as to how your stretch is evolving, something opening as you remain in it. And use your next inhaling breath to lift your torso up if it's folded. Use hands for support to lift your knees back to center space with your feet on the ground, knees still bent. Make sure if you're using any additional props to have them back behind within arm's reach. Inhale, deep breath. On exhalation, gradually start to lower all the way down to the ground using the strength of your core. Once you're on the earth, stretch your legs long. Inhale to sweep your arms above the top of your head. Take a full body stretch. Toes press forward, fingers press above the head, away from you as if you're being gently tugged in both directions. Stretch through your whole body here. One more breath. Exhale to release your arms by your torso. Rebend your knees, feet off of the earth. Take your hands on top of your knees here for a little hip flexor stretch. Start to use your palm and arm strength, just a little bit of it, to bring your knees and thighs closer to your body. It's okay if your low back comes off of your mat a little bit here. Pause wherever you're at in the hug. This time, start to add a reverse pressure. So as your hands stay in the same place, engaged towards you, begin to press your knees into your palms away from you. So you're not actually going to be moving, but you'll feel a little bit more sensation theoretically through your hip flexors here. If you're not feeling much, start to engage more strength in the arms. So you're pulling towards you and then pressing the knees away from you. Keep this engagement for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Full deep breath. On exhale, release the pressing upwards. So release pressing your knees into your hands. Draw your thighs and knees a little bit more towards you. Notice if that's opened up some space. Doing this one more time. So engage strength of your hands, pressing your knees and thighs towards you. At the same time, start to press away. The knees press towards the ceiling into your hands for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep breath. Exhale to release the upward pressure. See if you can draw the knees, thighs even a tiny bit more in towards you. Pause here. From this space, draw your hands back behind of your hamstrings. Extend both of your legs to the sky. Knees can bend if the hamstrings are a little bit more compressed. And use just a little bit of strength to tug your hamstrings down towards the earth. At the same time, start to press your big toe, little toe, ball mounds, your heels towards the sky. You might find a little bit of shaking here in the hamstring stretch. Stay with the breath. One more inhale. With the exhale, bend your knees, open your legs out to the right and left. Happy baby pose. Hands can rise up to your ankles, calves, only the sides of your feet if your low back stays this time on the ground. It's a very gentle gravity support down with the legs. If you need more of a stretch, start to press your feet in a slight resistance to the sky, and you'll probably feel your inner groin a little more. You can stay static right here, or if it's soothing, feel free to create a very gentle rock right to left, being mindful of your spine. One more final inhale. With your exhalation, return your knees back to center for a gentle little squeeze. And from here, start to listen to your own body, your own wisdom. What will support you here for the next several minutes? Feel free to close out your practice with any final stretches, postures. If you're finding that rest is what is calling you most, give yourself that gift of added time to pause and receive your practice. Move towards the final resting pose. Otherwise, a few minutes of free flow movement here. And if you are still in your own movement, begin to wind down. Next 5 rounds of breath or so. And taking time, making your way towards the final posture for rest and integration. If you're setting up for the final pose, space out your limbs, cover up with any added layers, cover your eyes if you have a little washcloth or anything else to add a little bit more darkness for the mind to relax. As you settle into the support of the ground, allow your whole body to sink with gravity, to be held, supported. Unwind any tension through the layer of your skin. Envision your muscle tissues unfolding, unwinding from any unnecessary contraction. And allow your bones to be heavy, to sink in towards the ground. And soften any tension through your mouth, your jaw, cheekbones, forehead. Full permission to simply be here and rest. If you find that your mind is overly distracted, focus on the soft rhythm of your breath at belly center or tips of nostrils, watching the breath as you relax. And very gently begin to notice your body as you rest. And with awareness of your breath, allow for waking movements through fingertips, toe tips, eyelids, and take any other stretches that feel soothing here. With a gentle breath, bring the knees in towards center, roll over to one of your sides, right or left. And find a comfortable and supportive way to press into the earth, rise back up. Take a comfortable seat. If your low back rounds, use your prop to sit up on, create more length. Keep your eyes soft or closed. And once you're in the upright space, either bring the palms to touch together in front of heart center, or one palm flat and the other palm on top of that. Take a moment to observe anything that has shifted for you through your time of practice this morning. And to acknowledge yourself for carving out this time, for showing up, and to affirm this ability that we have to connect to our roots, to ground, to find stability even when things are a little unstable. Softly bow your head to your own heart center, celebrating your wisdom, your dedication, your strength. Namaste.